Welcome back to Tracy and Gracie Becoming, episode 12. That has yet to be named because we are doing it a little different this time.
Yeah, this was Gracie's idea. I do have to say it's like my breath caught a little bit when she said, welcome to Tracy and Gracie Becoming, because I always think of myself in this state of becoming, recognizing that there's never going to be this finish line that I'm going to cross, where I used to think like that. I used to think of everything in the context of a finish line, and that really didn't serve me very well. So I've worked really hard to think differently. But when Gracie said, welcome to Tracy and Gracie Becoming, I see her becoming like some just extraordinary things. And it's so fun to have this perspective, this point of view. So I won't go into lots of detail on that. I'll just let that lie there. But I just want you to know that I do think that this has just been so special. Like, I'm sure, I thought about this the other day. I was like, won't it be cool when we can look back on this? Like,
that's what I think.
And there'll be, those really big moments, like when we talked about your wedding, or we talked about, your first,
that's so weird,
your first child, or we talk about, what big life events that we'll be able to always have this in the archive. And, maybe someday your kids will listen to this. And I don't know, like, I think about how much I would love to be able to go back and listen to something that my dad had created. Like, I would love to hear his voice again. And
well, he used to do home videos, so it's kind of along the same lines.
Unfortunately, they're on VHS tapes, which I have no way of playing that.
No, you played one from like the day I was born.
Yes.
You got that transferred.
I did, yeah, but there's just not a lot of them, and I'm not saying that your kids are going to be like so enthralled with wanting to know about the things I wanted to become, but maybe, you never know. So this is just such a cool archive. I am such a futuristic thinking person that I always think like that. So who knows what this could become, but I love watching you in this constant state of becoming. And the idea for this episode was your idea. Was it yesterday where you're like dancing around the house and you're like, I can't wait for the recording? And I'm like, really? I'm like, what are we recording? And so then you shared with me the idea, and I'm like, yeah, that's a great idea. So it's just so fun to get to have this perspective.
Yeah, I would say I'm not like super excited about what we're actually doing because it's a little bit nerve-wracking, but I'm excited for people to see what it's like the people that are listening to this. I want them to know what coaching is like and how it's changed both our lives. And I think what you're going to coach me on is very relatable probably for a lot of people that are listening. And so
let's just time out right there. Let's just talk about the people who are listening. So first off, I want to thank you for listening. We so appreciate it. We are in constant awe of the comments that we get and the listenership that we have. I think we are so appreciative. But we also have been looking at the demographics. And I'll just be really honest. This whole time, I have thought that we're talking to people like me. Like middle-aged, professional, I don't know, people that either, work inside the home, outside the home, just my demographic. That's who I thought we were talking to. And Gracie was like, no, actually who we're talking to are people like me, like her. And I'm like, what? No. And so she pulls up the analytics on multiple platforms, and they both aligned, showing very clearly that we're talking to her age group more than my age group. So,
well, we're talking to both. That's not like, that's a little bit dramatic. She has been very dramatic about this because she's like,
because I'm
what?
She didn't think
anybody my age was listening. She thought it was like all people her age, which we do have quite a few people your age that are listening.
I'll say it's surprising. I thought that I was talking to more of my audience because that's who I talk to all day, every day, is a lot of women that fall in a very similar demographic as I do. And so it just, without really thinking about it, that's just who I assumed I was talking to.
Well, you are still, but yeah.
Yes, but I also want to say how encouraging it is that we have your demographic listening, because my mission has always been trying to help people at an earlier age have a sense of self-control and really equipping them with a very simple tool to feel in control of, any sort of circumstance that may be, crossing their path, that they may come upon. Because I believe so wholeheartedly in what it is that we do. If we can catch people at a younger age, then of course they have a longer life ahead of them to be applying this to. So I think that is great. I also hope that all of you young people who are listening to this podcast, please ask your parents to start listening.
Tell your mom.
And dad. Because actually, Bryce, my husband, just walked in here. And
yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, and he was like, oh, sorry to interrupt. He's like, am I interrupting a podcast? And we actually had already started recording, but when you listen to this, we'll have edited it out. But he was like, are we talking about
the number 11?
The number 11, or are we talking about love or confidence?
Appreciation,
or gratitude.
Yeah.
Which he's listening, because honestly, I questioned whether the man has ever listened to our podcast. So
whatever, you literally made him listen to it while we were all in the car together.
Correct. I'm questioning whether he on his own accord would ever listen to this podcast.
Well, he is.
Yeah. So
hi, Dad.
Yeah. He might be, 65 years old by the time he gets around to listening to this one, but
yeah, whatever.
Okay.
But another side note though, we do have an Instagram page, tracy.gracie.becoming. That is now live. So if you want to see like clips of our episodes, or whatever, any announcements we have to make.
Riveting announcements.
You can go follow that page. I spent a lot of time clipping those videos. I spent like a gross amount of time yesterday clipping those videos, because every single video that I was in, I was like, why do I look like that?
I'll just say, you do show up pretty casual to these. I'm like, it's a Wednesday, so I have my group coaching calls on the front end of this, so I, dress up, make sure I have makeup on. Yeah. Gracie shows up half the time with her wet hair in a towel to the coaching calls, and then, we'll come in here, just come as you are, right? And so I kind of have to giggle a little bit.
That's how I prefer to be. I'd rather have them see me that way, but then I see it on camera and I'm like, ew. Ew. Well, why did I get on camera like that?
Good thing you're catching it on episode 12.
Yeah, no kidding. I was just like, geez. So sorry to all of our listeners that actually watch.
Yeah.
But anyways.
And then for all of you who don't watch and only listen, that's actually been a good move.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So anyways, maybe we get on to it.
Well, oh no. Before we get on to it, we must talk about last weekend.
You're right. Thank you for reminding me.
Yes. Last weekend, there wasn't actually a lot going on. Mm-mm. It was a little on the warm side, so you and I stayed in the house most of the weekend, while Dad cleaned windows and worked on resealing our driveway. So 2 things that he probably would have rather not done in the heat, but nevertheless, on Sunday, we went to Griffin's company summer picnic work event, which was fun because he works for Loeffler, and they are such an incredible, employee-focused, oriented company. They really have their finger on the pulse of, making their employees feel have a sense of connection, and so. It was fun because, of course, Griffin doesn't have a significant other, and so we get to be what?
Why does that matter?
Because most employees bring a significant other. They don't bring their mom and dad.
He's not married.
I didn't see a lot of his cohorts or counterparts bringing their mom and dad and sister.
Which girlfriend did you meet?
Girlfriend? What do you mean?
Which one of his counterparts did you meet their significant other?
Well, we didn't actually meet a lot of people, but okay, I'm thinking back into like when
Dads.
well,
events.
yeah, dad's events or when Carmichael Lynch had their events.
Yeah.
And we could bring, a +1.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But that's different. You guys are older.
Okay, all I want to say about this, I'm not making fun of him. I just I appreciate the fact that we were invited. And so we had that, point of view, got to see, got to meet people, got to see him interact with his counterparts, which was always fun. So yeah, it was just fun. It was super fun. I love those kind of events where they really get everybody engaged on a lot of different levels. It was hot, but it was really fun.
Yeah.
And it's just always fun to do something as a family. But our family, I feel like we're such homebodies. Everybody's like looking at their watch, like, TikTok, I think we need to get home so we can sit back down on the couch and watch TV. I'm like,
Yeah, we didn't even stay past the third inning.
okay, we don't have to disclose that.
It was hot out. It's fine.
Okay. All right. So that was the big event of the weekend.
Yeah, that was fun though.
Not a lot of exciting things going on.
No, but it's nice when we got weekends like that.
Yeah. All right. So you want to be coached, I hear.
Yes. So
Okay.
this will be a special episode because my mom is going to coach me on dating.
Wow. All I gotta say is look how far she has come. The girl who refused to be on my podcast, who did not want to have a light shine on her.
I'd say that's still a discomfort of mine, but the only way to work through that is to do stuff like this. So bear with me. I will probably blush and get nervous and all the things the whole way through this, but it's part of the process. So.
All right, well, I'll take off my mom hat and I'll put on my coach hat. Okay, so what is it that you want in the context of your dating life?
I would say what I want is to become more confident in my judgment and decisions. I would say that my biggest problem with dating right now, or how I look at dating, is that I'm not confident in my judgment when it comes to another person.
Okay, so you're feeling a lack of confidence. Why do you think that is?
I think because of past experiences, past relationships, I guess. I feel like I look at my past relationships as failures because they didn't work out, and then I go into this judgment of it didn't work out because I didn't have good judgment from the beginning. I didn't listen, or I didn't have the wherewithal to know that this wasn't going to work out.
Okay, and so what are you making that mean about you as a person?
That I can't make good decisions when it comes to somebody, or when it comes to dating somebody.
Okay, do you see that now showing up in other areas of your life?
For sure.
Okay. So you have this unintentional, kind of subconscious, little bit dramatic belief that I can't make good decisions.
Yeah.
Which makes you feel what?
It makes me feel worried and nervous about trying to find another person, because I just feel like I proved to myself over and over again that I don't make very good judgment.
Okay. So do you think the underlying thought or belief is I'm not going to be able to find the person?
Yes and no. I do feel like I will find the person, but I think my my feelings around it right now are worry and nervousness because of how my last relationships have played out. Like, I feel like I get really excited. I really like somebody. We date and everything's great. And then eventually, for whatever reason, it ends. And then I'm at the end of it and I'm like, not that it was a waste of time at all, but that why couldn't I have had better judgment about the relationship from the beginning and saved myself the hurt in the end?
Okay. So it is more about your lack of confidence in your decision-making skills. I can't make good decisions, which keeps you in this place of worrying, which then has you showing up, kind of looking at the past, judging the past relationships all as fails because you're no longer in the relationship. So you're just kind of judging it harshly that it was a fail. Catastrophizing about the future. I may not be able to find, the right person. You're judging yourself pretty harshly. Judging the circumstances of maybe, either not being in a relationship, a current relationship, or again, just judging the times that you were in relationships. And really not seeing the value of those relationships. When you're feeling worried.
When I'm feeling worried,
Okay, what else? How else do you show up? What do you do? What don't you do? What would you say some of the negative self-talk is?
I would say I don't put myself out there as much. And the self-talk is like, well, what if this one ends badly? Or like, why are you even trying? Like, until you, like, in my head, I'm like, maybe I just need to give myself a minute until I grow up and figure it out. Which, I mean.
So when you are feeling worried, believing this, I can't make good decisions, showing up in a way that has you kind of living in fear, catastrophizing the future. What if I don't find the right person? Using the past as evidence to support this belief that I don't make good decisions, judging yourself, judging the circumstance, hiding. What does that create for you?
Like the end result that all creates for me.
Like, what's the experience that you're having?
It just like doesn't make me want to date. It doesn't make me want to put myself out there. I would say it just keeps me from like wanting to like meet people.
It's super interesting how our primitive brain wants to be right. So it offers you this hyper-vigilant thought around your inability to make good decisions, and then it fights to be right. And it's so fascinating how then you literally keep yourself from making any decisions, good or bad. You just don't make decisions. Which you would probably, articulate as not making any decisions. So your thought actually really comes to life. It manifests. Because your primitive brain is so like convicted on that thought that it has you out there believing it as the truth. So that primitive brain saboteur narratives, they're actually birthed from your inner strengths. So you are a vigilant person, but when it crosses over into being hyper vigilant and you're not actually in any danger, that's where you sabotage yourself, and you ultimately you don't make any decisions, and so you don't go on any dates. You don't put yourself out there. If you do go on a date, maybe you're going to be very, close to the, I don't even know what the word is, like Where you're not like giving of yourself.
Like closed off.
Yeah, kind of
Yeah.
closed off because you're kind of in a fear mode.
Yeah. No, I definitely think that, yeah, that's all true.
Okay, so we see how that's playing out, how that thought, that belief, that's coming from, a very dramatic place. We see how when you're believing that, how that unfolds.
Yeah.
It leads you to not making any decisions.
Yeah.
Okay. So where do you want to be in the context of that's where you're at? Where do you want to be?
I want to be confident in my judgment, and I want to enjoy the process of finding someone.
Okay. And so if you were watching somebody else kind of enjoy the process of dating,
Yeah.
what would you see them doing?
I would see them being open
Okay.
with other person and like new experiences with them.
Okay.
I would see them being present
Okay.
and
What does that look like?
like enjoying the moment and not like worrying about what's gonna happen next.
Okay. What would the self-talk sound like?
It'd sound like it's okay to not know. Like, this is a journey, this is a process. You're figuring out what this could look like.
What would you be thinking about the past relationships?
If I was confident, like in a confident state of mind, I would say I would be thinking of all of them as like lessons and something I needed
You
to
don't
get
have
there.
to be thinking of them on the date, but you could be thinking about the relationships.
Good tip, Mom.
101. Don't think about the past relationships, the past people.
Yeah, no kidding.
I'm just saying, you said that
Yeah.
when you're not feeling confident, you're thinking about the past as the past
Yeah.
relationships as fails.
Yeah,
And
which
that
Yeah.
is a very like dramatic, unnecessary, unhelpful thought, because is that even true?
no.
No. I mean, think about how much you've learned from them.
Yeah, and I think that that's a good note because when I do my self-coaching on this, from like spinning out and feeling like a failure, not that the relationship was a fail, but like I'm a failure, like this keeps happening because of me and my decision making. I think that something that helps has been like noting how much I've learned and like how much I've grown through those relationships, because like I wouldn't have been the way I was in my last relationship if it wasn't for the one prior to that. And I definitely wouldn't, if I didn't have my last one, I definitely wouldn't know what I want the next one to look like.
Right.
And so I don't see the relationship as a fail. I think it's like more me, like failing in a relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But just because you're no longer in the relationship,
Yeah,
does it have to be categorized as a fail?
right. No, not at all.
Right? I mean, just because you're no longer, at University of Eau Claire, Wisconsin,
Yeah,
does not mean that you are failed. You
Right.
failed that attempt, right?
Yeah.
Like, you've now finished all the courses that you wanted to
Yeah.
take. You decided not to go on to, get the next degree, but you don't consider that a fail.
right,
It was all just kind of a learning opportunity
right.
and an experience that you probably cherish.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think sometimes, when we get to the end of a relationship, whether it's a relationship with a person or a relationship with a place of employment, another great thought about it is it's just complete.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. I mean, it's like I gained a lot from it, and I gave a lot to it. And I can feel really good about it and it being complete.
Yeah.
And I got what I was supposed to, and he got what he was supposed to from it, and we're better people because of it. And it was all part of this journey.
Yeah.
But just because it's over doesn't mean it has to be classified as a fail.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. But when you're being hijacked by your, hypervigilant, saboteur narrative, it's easy to believe that.
Yeah.
And so that's the power of coaching or being self-coached, is to really kind of shine a light on it and see how dramatic that thinking can be, and even more importantly, to see how you react to it without even knowing it.
Yeah.
And how that subconscious, unintentional thought that I make bad decisions keeps you from making any decision at all.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I like the thought that, like, it was supposed to happen that way. Rather than, like, looking at it from the good and the bad, like, there were I obviously got hurt, but then there were so many good moments too. And I, like, can look at them and cherish both, because now I know the contrast.
Yeah, that pain that you have felt is the contrast that's going to make every other emotion kind of on the other end of the spectrum of pain. So joy, satisfaction, love, it's going to even make it, you're going to be capable of feeling it. You wouldn't have the capacity to feel those things had you not experienced the pain.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
Even the pain is something that you can be grateful for. So you know where it is that you want to be. You know kind of where you're currently at. What do you think are some ways that you can get a little bit closer to where it is that you want to be in regards to being confident in your decision making? And
like things I could be doing, or I would say just being open to like new people, and like not closing myself off. Not looking at this like from the whole picture, like not looking at it like if it's gonna work or not, but looking at it more of like, am I enjoying this? Yeah. Am I enjoying the time that I'm spending with the person? Because obviously it would reveal itself if I wasn't enjoying the time with them, then I would probably make the decision not to date them. But yeah.
Okay, would you be communicating with this person?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think the feeling would need to be that would drive you to being open, being present, communicating with this person more?
Excitement.
Excitement, okay.
about dating.
Okay, and what would you have to believe to generate that emotion, that vibration in a very authentic way?
I think I would have to believe that that I could be meeting someone amazing, and I could be meeting my person if I had just tried.
If I just tried. I love how you tack on that little beat down right there.
Well, I meant like if I actually go on dates, like rather than being worried about the potential.
Yeah, so some of the actions that maybe you didn't talk about that you conveniently skipped over would be like actually putting yourself out there, maybe actually connecting with somebody that you want to go on a date with.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, you could be going to church and putting yourself out there. Okay, so that is something, that's an action step that's going to lead to you becoming more confident in your decisions, right?
Yeah.
All of these things. But we know that it's not actions that we need to be focusing on. It's really a feeling that's going to organically drive those actions that we're going for.
Yeah.
And so that feeling, if you were watching somebody do all those things and really get an outcome, a result, or be living out an experience where they're very confident in their judgment or in their decision making,
Yeah.
what do you think they would be feeling as they organically do all these things? Where it looks like they're not even trying. They just show up and they're...
Yeah. Like excited and content probably. Like,
okay.
like just willing to let whatever happens.
Ooh, that's
happen.
a good one. Willing is a really good one.
Yeah.
Okay. And so then what would you have to be believing about yourself that would have you feeling excited, content, willing?
What I have to be thinking about
Yeah,
myself.
thinking or believing.
That I'm capable of experiencing this without judgment, or experiencing the good and the bad.
Okay. How does that make you feel?
Willing.
Sort of, kind of. If
yeah,
you're really
I
going
think-
for excitement
Well,
and
excitement would be like, this could be my person.
willing.
Like,
And even if it's not,
yeah.
could you
that-
still be excited?
Yeah.
Could you?
Yeah. That
Okay.
I will enjoy this no matter what.
Yeah. I have no idea what this date has in store,
Yeah.
but I'm here for it.
Yeah, I
I'm
like
all
that.
about it. Like I really am not supposed to know
Yeah. I
how
like
this is
that.
all going to unfold, but I have a feeling I'm about to have my mind blown, or things like that are what make me feel excited. Like, you think you know, but you really don't. Like, it's going to be way better than you could have ever anticipated.
Yeah.
I love to think like that. That's what gets me excited. You could totally borrow that thought for the next date that you go on, and just try it on and see how that feels. And versus, unknowingly believing these saboteur narratives,
Yeah.
these hypervigilant, judgmental narratives that have you shying away, closing off, not being present, worrying, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like that feels a lot better.
Okay, so let's like pull this playbook together.
Okay.
So about your dating life, or even specifically this next date, whenever that should happen. How, or even creating the next date. Maybe
Yeah.
that's like the objective. But
Yeah.
what would you have to be believing? What are you going to start believing?
That I'm willing to let whatever happens happen, and I'm excited for what's going to happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And that makes you feel
Excited.
okay. And okay, excited and willing.
Yeah.
Okay. And then how do you show up? Organically, what will you find yourself doing?
Yeah, I'd probably be like more happy, more open, in the moment, present,
Probably
conversational.
fewer expectations.
Yeah.
Fewer judgment.
Yeah.
What would the self-talk sound like?
It would sound like this is going to be a fun experience no matter what. You don't have to know how it's gonna end. Just enjoy the moment. Yeah.
All of this is kind of lending to kind of a bigger experience for me. It's providing contrast. It's providing like desires.
Yeah.
It truly is what is going to create that next step in the journey.
Right.
And, you know, not having an expectation for knowing how this is going to end, just kind of being willing to be on the ride.
Yeah.
And so does that create more confident decision making?
Yeah, I think it does, because I think it strips away, like, the judgment that I put on it. Like, it strips away the, like, worry and nervousness of what if it doesn't work out, because I'm not supposed to know if it's going to work out.
And
Like,
so
that's not
if
part of the journey.
When that judge shows up, because it will, right? There's lots of well-driven
Yeah.
neural pathways. Your primitive brain is not going anywhere. So the
Right.
judge is going to show up. That's going to be an obstacle.
Yeah.
But that's an obstacle that you can overcome before it even shows up, like right now. So
Yeah.
when you hear that narrative, how are you going to navigate that?
Like the judgment. I think I'll just, like, recognize that that's my primitive brain. Be very aware of it, and
How does that make you feel? That
Good.
thought, this is my primitive brain.
yeah, good. It's just trying to keep me safe.
Yes. And how does that make you feel?
Good. Yeah, that I. Well, that I
Besides
don't.
good.
Well, it does. It makes me feel good that I don't have to, like, actually worry about it. It's just.
Yeah.
It's just my primitive brain trying to keep me safe, and it's not. That doesn't mean it's right. It's just there.
Exactly. Okay, so when you notice judgment specifically, the emotion that can kind of squash it, that can extinguish it right then and there is empathy.
Yeah.
Okay? I think good equates to empathy for you, because it gives you compassion. It makes you feel normal for
Yeah.
just being human.
Yeah.
Right? That is just a human function of that part of your brain to do that. That allows you to kind of separate yourself from that thought pattern.
Yeah.
You're not your thoughts, you're the watcher of your thoughts.
Yeah.
Right? And so having empathy for yourself, you can have empathy for the other people. You know, if you find yourself judging other people,
Yeah.
you can find a way to create empathy for them, or even the situation of getting back out into the dating world. Of course you're scared.
Yeah.
Of course, right? Most people are scared of the unknown, right? So you can just kind of give yourself a little bit of grace on that. And that's usually a quantum leap in the direction of, you know, towards what it is that you want, and not being hijacked by that primitive brain, that
Yeah.
judgment.
Yeah, no, that definitely helps.
Okay. Anything else that you think might get in the way?
I feel like that's the main one. I don't know, maybe like other people, like what other people might think. Yeah.
And how would you navigate that? What is it
I think
that
I
you're
would-
actually afraid of other people thinking?
Well, hurting other people, probably. But I don't know, maybe if I find a weirdo and people are judging me for that. But I would probably not.
Well, there was that one. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah, no, it would probably be hurting anybody.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, you also know, like, that's a pretty dramatic thought. You
Yeah.
really do not have the special powers
Yeah.
of making anyone feel anything, right?
Yeah.
That's absolutely impossible. There's circumstances that other people will have thoughts about that will generate feelings for them,
Yeah.
but you really don't have that kind of control.
Yeah.
And you also know who you are, your truest essence. You have zero desire to intentionally hurt people.
Right.
You would never do that.
Yeah.
So that's just a primitive brain thought again,
Yeah.
right? And so staying aware of those thoughts, how those thoughts make you feel. Sometimes it's the feeling that you can catch on to quicker than you can the actual thought.
Yeah.
And so, but you have to have that heightened sense of awareness. And so doing things like self-coaching every day is what's going to strengthen that other part of your brain, the prodigy part of your brain, and allow you to rebound quicker from those hijackings should they unfold,
Yeah.
or intercept right at that moment where you recognize the feeling or the thought happening.
Yeah.
Okay, so just to wrap it all up, what is your next step?
Go on a date.
Okay. And we might need to back up a little bit further than that.
Like my next step to feeling the like excitement about dating, or what do you mean?
Yeah. Well, and I mean, I'm guessing to feel excited about dating, there's got to be dates somewhere in the mix here.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It would. Yeah. My next step would be more open to it,
Okay.
to dating.
Okay. So putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
Okay. So are you going to go do a social media post, or what's that going to look like?
Nope. I'm going to church.
Perfect. And that concludes this session. No. I think that if you are feeling willing,
Yeah.
the next steps are going to organically happen.
Yeah.
So they will start to unfold. If you are feeling, scared or worried,
Yeah.
you aren't going to take the next steps
Yeah, no,
that are
I
going to
wouldn't be
lead to a
seeking out
date.
dates. Yeah. Or people.
Yeah. Well, good work.
Thanks.
All this, I think, has been a good illustration, example of what a coaching session looks like.
Yeah.
We're also going to be doing this on Fridays, several times a month,
At least 2 times a month.
at least twice. Yeah.
Free
It's
coaching Fridays.
Free Coaching Fridays. We'll put the link because we just want people to register so we can keep stats. But there is no cost. In the course of 30 minutes, we'll probably get through at least 2 people, I would guess.
Yeah.
It's on a first come, first serve basis, so you'd want to come early. We'll just
And you don't have to be coached either. You can
Right.
just show up. If you just want to see what it's like, you can just show up and watch somebody else get coached. We would never call on anybody
no.
like, oh, Gracie's in the waiting room. Come on up and get coached. Like, it's not going to be like that. It's only people that want to be coached will be coached.
Yeah,
But if
they'll
you
raise their virtual little hand.
But if you have something that you want to be coached on, absolutely, like, show up, raise your hand. We would love it
Yeah.
if you came and got coached. But we also understand, as I'm sitting here sweating, that it's hard to get coached, especially in front of other people, or by somebody you don't know. And so,
But you're becoming somebody who can do that,
yep.
as evidence of today.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So there's no pressure. There is no participation required. Just show up, see what it's like, try to apply it to your circumstance. I hope this helped other people. If you are struggling with dating and your thoughts around it, hopefully you can apply some of this to your own situation. And that's kind of our goal for Free Coaching Fridays, is that we make coaching accessible to anybody that wants or needs it, and then that it carries over into other people's circumstances.
yeah, I mean, we want to make it accessible to anybody who needs or wants it. That's definitely one objective. The second objective is to teach people how to do this themselves, so that there isn't this dependence on something outside of you. I really want you to understand that, you thinking of yourself as the solution to all of your problems, that you're fully equipped. It's just that you haven't yet been taught. And you probably, if you have been taught, you probably haven't been practicing it. So, long-lasting change is 20% insight, 80% application. So it's really important that you're actively practicing this. And if you are self-coaching, it's going to require you to show up and really better understand yourself. And so we teach the 4-step process, and the acronym is SELF. So it's really easy to remember. But it does require, 80% is application or practice to create that lasting change.
Yeah. Yeah.
So join us on Free Coaching Friday. We've got one, we've got the I don't even want to try to figure out the dates since I'm not sure when this recording comes out, but we've got at least 2 a month. And so you can go to our website. If you follow our Instagram account, you'll see when these are. And then we're also going to be mixing in masterclasses where we're applying the self-operating system, the SELF 4-step tool, to very specific topics. So the one in September is professional performance. So it's for people who, really want to work on their professional life, whether maybe they've been recently laid off or they find themselves leading a team that is maybe unproductive, or you're really wanting to actively kind of move up the corporate ladder. It's for anybody that has...
If you're in sales, you're trying to sell more.
Right.
Or make more money,
generate more leads.
customers.
As you can tell, this is where we're at.
Yeah.
We could rattle it off all day long about the entrepreneur's desires. But yeah, any desire that has, a professional spin to it, I would highly recommend showing up for that masterclass. And that is September 15th.
And for free.
And it is also free.
Yeah.
So you just have to sign up on our website. And it's for people Gracie's age, which we know is the majority of the listeners, who maybe is just starting off their career, as well as the people that are my age, who are maybe, mid-career or even looking at retirement, or you're looking to completely start over, or maybe you want to become an entrepreneur like us.
Yeah.
It's really for anybody, and really challenging the way you're thinking and showing up around your professional life. So
yeah. So if you liked this, if you liked the coaching aspect of it, let us know, because we'd love to do more episodes like this. Eventually it'll be me coaching my mom, so that's exciting. But yeah, we want to know these things. So if it's something you liked, let us know. Tell your friends, share our podcast with your friends. And I always forget to say this, but you can hear our podcast on literally any platform. It doesn't have to, I always link Spotify just because that's what I have. But we're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Google Podcasts, other random platforms. Like if you just look up Tracy and Gracie Becoming, you can listen to us there. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's all we got for you.
All right. Thanks. We'll see you next week.
Yep.